Well, Democrats are trying to fight the Trump agenda, and they are throwing around the I word again.
Jon Ossoff told voters at a town hall that he strongly agrees that President Trump should be impeached. Do you agree with him?
Right now, President Trump is violating rule of law in every way. And we're fighting him every single day. As
But
your
you're not
poll
ruling
showed,
out.
the American people are realizing.
You're not saying no.
Look, it's too far away to even judge.
Fox News contributor and author of the new book, The Greatest Comeback Ever, which we're going to get into in a moment. Joe Concha joins us now. Joe, what do you make of that dodge, especially in light of the fact that over the last couple of weeks, Schumer's gotten in a lot of trouble. His poll numbers are plummeting because of accusations by his own party that he caved to Donald Trump.
Yeah, great question, Todd. I think when Donald Trump was first impeached during his first term over that Ukraine call that turned out to be prophetic and accurate around the Biden family corruption in Ukraine, Trump's poll numbers only went up. Impeachment outside of CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post, is one big yawn at this point. It has been completely watered down. And that's for two reasons. One, it looks completely and totally political, because it is. And two, since you need 2/3 of the Senate to actually remove a president, it ends up being one big waste of time that doesn't result in anything except for, I guess, good TV on those networks and in those newspapers. So I'm curious, what would Democrats impeach Donald Trump over? Deporting those here illegally who have committed crimes? Because most of the country agrees with President Trump on that. So if Democrats want to go down this road, and I think Chuck Schumer's right to be hesitant to do that, roll the dice, take your chances, and maybe you could send your approval rating down to 11% from the current 21% that it's at. That's where it is at this point, and Chuck Schumer knows it.
Yeah, and Al Green had been calling for President Trump's impeachment since week 2 of him in office. So there is also that. So speaking of the Democratic Party, one strategist was on another network recently and gave some advice on where he thinks the party should go from here. Notable moment. Listen to this.
Democrats are looking for a champion, and I continue to suggest here and other places that that champion is likely going to come from somewhere outside of politics. I don't know if Stephen A. Smith is the answer, but I can tell you that the American people are looking for that muscular, kind of masculine-based answer. And, you know, we honestly have nobody right now on the left with the individual magnitude to match the bully pulpit of the presidency.
And I thought that this was interesting because you have Elisa Slotkin recently saying that the Democratic Party needs alpha energy. So you're hearing this being repeated multiple times. So what do you think? Is that what the Democrat Party needs?
Wow, Carly. I mean, are you saying that Pete Buttigieg is not that muscular guy that they're looking for, or Bernie Sanders, or that Ken doll that is Gavin Newsom? You know, that's the thing. Like, if we could just create a candidate, like we have something that we could just build and produce and put out there, that's not the way it works. I mean, the Democratic Party needs an authentic candidate. It doesn't matter what the person looks like in terms of masculinity or sounds like. Authenticity is something that you don't just produce or just create. It's something that's natural. It's organic. So perhaps in the end, this party is going to have to go with a more celebrity or performative candidate like AOC or Stephen A. Smith. And they're going to lose big time regardless, because in the end, this is the party that I don't care what the candidate looks like, how masculine that person is. This is the party that needs to go to the center. And instead, they're like Thelma and Louise, like driving right off that cliff to the hard left. So until they realize that they have to take the right side of common sense issues, I don't care what the candidate looks like or sounds like.
Yeah, you could hear Cory Booker hearing this and going, I spoke for 25 hours on the Senate floor. Is that masculine enough for you?
Yeah, but I think this concept of masculinity is really more about finding a human who's genuine, to your point, Joe, but who will go to the mat for you. And I think that's really, when I think of masculinity, it's like a father going to the mat for his kids. Let's talk about your new book.
Yeah.
It is called The Greatest Comeback Ever Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign. Look, I know you want people to buy it, but what does the reader come away from your book knowing that maybe they did not know prior to reading it?
Well, I interviewed the president for 40 minutes, Todd. Thank you for the question. And he explained some things that happened during that first assassination attempt that I am certain I've never heard in any other interview, as far as why he got up when there could be a second shooter, when he didn't know whether he was still in danger and said, fight, fight, fight. And he explained exactly why he did that. And I'll leave it there in terms of like a tease, but you wouldn't believe exactly what he said there and why he did it. And it's something that I wouldn't do in that situation. I'd say, get me the hell out of here. You know, I mean, I just got shot. Instead, the president stood up, like you see in that picture, and did exactly what he did for a very good reason. And that's why one of 100 reasons why you should buy the book. And that's where we're at. We're at currently #1 right now on Amazon. So I appreciate everybody who's bought it, but it comes out tomorrow. And it's a fun book. Like you see these interviews, right? We have fun. And it's also a lot of humor in there as well.
Well, Joe, congratulations on it. You're a fantastic writer. I'm sure it will be a huge success.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
We're going to take a look at it. We're going to read it. We're going to like dog ear it, line it,
That's
highlighter.
right.
We're
Get
going to
those
do it
little
all.
sticky tabs, put them in it.
Joe Concha. Thank you, sir.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.